The relationship between James Harden and Daryl Morey's Philadelphia 76ers appears irreparable, with the saga becoming a lose-lose for both parties. While a bummer for Harden himself, the situation is an absolute disaster for a Sixers team squarely in win-now mode. It could also spell the beginning of the end for Philly's Joel Embiid era. After then Rockets general manager Daryl Morey traded for Harden in 2012, the Beard enjoyed prolific success in Houston. Both Harden and Morey's Rockets prioritized threes, layups, and free throws, with Harden's combination of scoring, playmaking, and penetration helping Houston carve up opposing defenses for years.
He was special.
The partnership and respect between Harden and Morey remained strong enough that when Harden decided his short stint with the chaotic Nets wasn't to his liking in 2022, it was Morey's Sixers that he steered himself towards. 18 months and another embarrassing postseason flameout later, Harden has vowed to never play for a Morey-led organization again, despite still having a year left on his contract.
I know, it doesn't add up.
The issue seems to have stemmed from Harden's decision to take a team-friendly deal in 2022 so that Morey would have the cap-related wiggle room to add players like PJ Tucker and Danuel House that same summer. A suspicious sequence of events that ended up costing the Sixers a pair of second-round draft picks. Rather than exercising his nearly $47.4 million player option for 2022-23 or opting for 2022 free agency, Harden signed a 2-year deal with a first-year salary of only $33 million and a 2023-24 player option for $35.6 million. Whether Morey and the Sixers actually ever promised Harden more or not, Harden's words and actions seem to insinuate that the future Hall of Famer was led to believe he'd be made whole for his 2022 sacrifices in 2023 free agency. When a max-level offer to remain in Philadelphia never came, Harden requested a trade while picking up his 2023-24 player option. Though he could have made more guaranteed long-term money in free agency, picking up his player option for trade purposes opens up more contending options for Harden, since teams don't need cap space to trade for him. In addition, it allows the Sixers to recoup something for the 10-time All-Star rather than losing him for nothing. But while they may have originally agreed to work together on a trade, the relationship between Harden and Morey's Sixers only grows frostier by the day.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of either.
With the Clippers, Harden's preferred landing spot, refusing to meet Morey's asking price for the soon-to-be 34-year-old, the Sixers reportedly decided to end trade talks and bring Harden to training camp. But that would require the cooperation of one of the association's most mercurial stars, and Harden, who has mastered the art of creating leverage through chaos, isn't playing ball. This isn't Damian Lillard, with up to 4 years and $216 million left on his contract. Though Harden can't hold out all year unless he wants to risk his 2024 free agent status, as a veteran on an expiring deal with a history of making things uncomfortable until he gets his way, he is plenty liable to completely upend Philly's start to the season.
Somebody said to me yesterday, this is only the beginning. This is just the beginning of what James Harden is going to do to make life very uncomfortable for the Philadelphia 76ers.
That's the last thing the Sixers need as they embark on what could be a championship or bust campaign.
I don't need this shit.
On one hand, it's completely understandable that Morey and company don't feel comfortable giving Harden a $200+ million contract that would pay him through his age 37 season. But if his front office fail to hold up their end of a wink-wink agreement, that's not going to sit well with stars around the league. Not to mention, a disgruntled Harden leaves Philly in a tough spot from a basketball perspective too. While not the MVP-level superstar he once was, Harden's also far from replaceable. Sure, he can't get by his defender and collapse a defense as often these days. He's more reliant on his step-back jumper, and he just can't hit the high notes as consistently. But we're still talking about a guy who averaged 21 points on nearly 61% true shooting while leading the league in assists last season. We're still talking about an offensive legend who exploded for multiple 40-point games in a second-round series loss to Boston just a few months ago. Even in a diminished state, the Sixers aren't going to get Harden-level value out of a Harden trade. And while it's true Philly could have max cap space next summer, letting the Beard's contract expire and losing him for nothing in free agency is a dangerous option given the circumstances. Barring a stunning trade package for Harden materializing out of thin air, or the Beard suddenly softening on Morey again, it appears this is going to go one of two ways for the Sixers. Harden stays, blows things up from the inside, then walks for nothing next summer, or Harden's traded for pennies on the dollar.
Well, are there any other options?
Either of those options would make it tough for the Sixers to compete for a title this season, but it feels increasingly unlikely that the reigning MVP would tolerate another wasted year. That means the end of the Harden saga, whatever that end looks like, could spell the beginning of the end for the Embiid era, and you know the vultures are already circling. It's also just a shame for Harden, and a reminder why players often prioritize getting their money as opposed to getting cute for the benefit of their teams. Harden already lost out on millions over the last couple summers. Now he might lose one of his last chances at an elusive championship ring if he doesn't swallow his pride and play nice with the team he feels screwed him over. Talk about a lose-lose.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.